Hi, I'm David Pollandine. I work for International Justice Mission Canada here in the Prairies, and I'm the Director of Development, coming from a very windy but warm Winnipeg in October. And I'm back to share with you how IJM are continuing to protect people in poverty from violence around the world, even during this time of COVID-19. Well, we're responding in three ways. And the first way is by reaching out to the need now, an immediate response. For this, I want to actually zoom out a bit and see a bigger picture, how COVID-19 pandemic has shaken Western civilization, and life has not been easy for anybody. Lockdown has meant that shelters are now classed as essential business, increased counselling and legal aid are offered by phone and video, and many court protection orders for domestic violence survivors are being extended. National Childline hotlines, domestic violence hotlines are open and offer 24-hour help, don't they, 7 days a week. Well, in contrast to that, many lower income countries where IJM works actually has no plan B for dealing with this increase in violence, and actually they never had a plan A. According to the World Bank, 49 countries do not have laws criminalising violence against women. 112 do not criminalise marital rape. Local police and courts often reflect prevailing social norms that men are justified in beating their wives and children. Women who report these things themselves will get severe beatings and then turned away by local authorities who view such crimes as a family issue. And here's a challenge. Major donor governments are reluctant to invest foreign aid in criminal justice systems, in part because the record of local police and courts has been so poor with respect to domestic violence and sexual assault. However, at IJM, we have seen a different picture when we've invested modestly in making these transformations. We've seen across the board that the decrease of street children who are sexually exploited in the Philippines and Cambodia has dropped. We've seen an increase in perpetrators being convicted in Uganda for stealing land off widows and orphans. And in the last 20 years, we've seen 24,000 people in the hill tribes of Thailand get their citizenship papers. See, when COVID-19 pandemic ends, every nation in the world will grieve their loss of loved ones, and there'll be a need to repair gaping breaches in economic and health systems. Rebuilding from the ashes of COVID-19 must include, though, as well, overdue investments in protecting the lives of women and children from a global epidemic of rape, assault, murder, and that will surely outlive the virus. Secondly, for a near-term response, we are rescuing people now, and thankfully rescues in the Philippines have continued. 4 children, ages 6, 9, and 10 and 17 have been rescued just last week from cybersex trafficking in the Philippines. This was led by the Philippine National Police, the PNP, or the Women and Children Protection Centre, the WCPC, and they're now receiving the aftercare needed for their restoration. This is a powerful testament to the dedication of these two groups, PNP and WCPC, in stopping online sexual exploitation of children. These are the words of attorney Ray Bickle, who is the field officer and director of IJM Manila. 4 children are now safe, and their alleged perpetrator has been arrested and will no longer be able to abuse children again. One can truly admire the men and women of the WCPC, who are real-life heroes, doing their sworn duty, going above and beyond the challenges, thus achieving more protection to our children in the communities during this time of COVID lockdown. And thirdly, for a long-term response, continue to partner with governments to protect the poor from violence. I'm standing here by our local recessed pond, or could call it a lake. I think as far as the geese are concerned, it's all a lake. And so we're going to Ghana, where we continue to partner with local authorities to rescue and restore boys who have been trafficked to work repairing nets on Lake Volta. Now, there's a case that we've been unable to talk about until recently because it wasn't closed, but now it is closed. And it involves the bravery and the courage of a boy called Godwin. Godwin was just a 16-year-old schoolboy who was lured into a false trip to see extended family, which put him on Lake Volta. And like thousands of other boys, he was diving into the waters to mend tangled fishing nets. For 3 years he was trapped with other boys and routinely beaten if they displeased the slave owner. IJM was able to locate Godwin and rescue him, and less than 24 hours after his rescue, Godwin bravely got back on a boat, and headed back into the water to the island that had so recently been his prison. But this time he was aiding authorities and IJM staff in identifying children who were enslaved. Because of Godwin's bravery and IJM donors' generous support, 29 trafficked people and 1 infant were rescued and 17 suspects were arrested. Well, today Godwin is a leader among his peers and is loved by his headmaster, teachers and classmates. He's picked his school books back up and he's determined to pursue his dream of becoming a doctor. Perhaps in the coming days, as we pass these recessed ponds or lakes, perhaps we can spare a thought for Godwin and his restoration, and for many other boys like him on Lake Volta, mending fishing nets. Well, thank you again for joining me on another one of these COVID-19 updates, looking at IJM's work around the world. And really just one thing I wanted to flag is to say that on November the 20th, we have a very special online Canada-wide event called Cherished More Precious Than Gold. And you can be part of that just by getting a ticket. You can see the website there at the bottom where you just go on to and you can register for the event, $40 for a ticket. And more importantly, that will be actually contributing to put on hopefully 12 rescues for children from cybersex trafficking in the Philippines. And you'll be getting also a nice package, a box, a prize gift with some lovely IJM gifts inside as part of that, part of your registration fee. And all to say is to thank you so much as you continue to support IJM in this very difficult time of COVID-19, and we can still be a real source of hope for people living in poverty around the world. So thank you for your care, for your advocacy and your donations to help make that possible. See you again in a few weeks. Thank you. Bye-bye.